Oh, let's talk some NFL. He's Tyler. I'm Holden. NFL draft show, NFL off-season show. We talk some tush push. We got to talk about Ashton Jeanty and his draft position right now. We'll go through the 2 through 4 picks as we've had some line movement there. And then you and I have been discussing like the first pick by every single team. And you want to get down with the Steelers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. How are you, Tyler? A lot of NBA in your life right now, but it's good that we could talk some NFL in the offseason and, maybe find some more bets for the NFL draft.
Yeah, it's just been good in the NBA. I mean, last 2 rundowns, 2-0 on the free bets I gave out. Hopefully see tonight if Kawhi can get over his 22.5. That's the free bet for tonight. But, I mean, it's always fun to talk some NFL. We just keep talking the draft because the odds are moving on these picks, and I think we can make some money on these.
Yeah, before we get into this, why don't you talk about the NBA rundown real quick, because we've got a ton of NBA content here. You and Spread do a marvelous job, and you're winning me money.
Yeah, me and Spread do the NBA rundown. Trying to do it every day, weekly. It's kind of getting the schedule broken up right now. Spread's still getting situated at the new house, but shooting for 5 p.m. Break down every game, give you the bets we like. Spread runs his projections and gives you bets off of that also. We've been doing good this year. Been a little on and off with everything that he's had going on, but next year we'll be back in full effect.
Yeah, man.
And for the playoffs, we'll be there.
He moved out to the country. He don't want to mess with anybody anymore.
Yeah, he don't like the city people anymore.
You know what? I'm kind of right there with him, dude. I still live around some people, but yeah, I'm over it. Well, I'm not over the NFL draft. About 3.5 weeks away. Looking forward. We'll do a live show, I'm sure. But I want to start with a guy that you wanted to discuss, Ashton Jeanty, right? So there are actual Ashton Jeanty markets out there, like just pure which team is going to draft this dude. And I'm going to share the screen so we can see the odds as we start the show off. No, we don't want Google Slides. We want to share the screen. There we go. Okay. So here it is. The Raiders are the favorite at minus 105 now on FanDuel. Shop around. You might get a better number. Bears plus 40. Cowboys 850. Saints 14-1. Jaguars 26-1. Broncos 45-1. All the Broncos fans want Ashton Jeanty. Probably not going to happen. I don't see them trading up to get him. This will likely be the only first-round running back. You never know, but, I mean, the Raiders need so much. Do they need a running back?
I think they need a wide receiver more than a running back. Like, I think they're in the perfect spot to draft T-Mac out of Arizona. Make him your wide receiver 1. Make Jacoby your 2. You have Brock Bowers. And you can this is a deep draft for a running back. I actually think there's 2 going in the first round. I think Jeanty and Hampton will both go in the first round. Whichever one of these first 3 teams in odds, the Raiders, the Bears, and the Cowboys, one of them is going to draft Jeanty. Hampton from UNC is probably going to be Denver's running back, in my opinion. But the more I look at these odds, I just don't think the Raiders are going to end up taking him at 6. I don't think you spend that high of capital on it. Yeah. Maybe they try and field some calls and see if some teams want to come up and draft a guy. I like Dallas at the plus 850 just because their running back room is so weak. But Chicago's talked all offseason. They wanted to get a split with Swift. They've kind of rebuilt the offensive line through trades and signings. I wouldn't be surprised if they add Jeanty to that backfield at plus 140. So it would be lean towards the Bears, maybe a long shot on the Cowboys. Denver at 45-1 seems enticing, but I just don't think they trade up.
Yeah, I still think Chicago needs to help on the offensive line.
Yeah,
the Raiders are picking at 6. The quarterback's probably not going to be there unless they need to trade up to get that. But are we really going with Ashton Jeanty at 6?
I just don't see
so many other needs.
There's so many other needs. Fix your passing game first. You signed Mostert. You still have, who was their running back from last year, Zamir White, to back him up. Like, they're not the best guys, but Geno's going to throw the ball 40 times a game in this offense. Like, and then you can also draft one of these later running backs. Caleb Johnson fits at Pete Carroll's system perfectly. Power runner, breaks a lot of tackles. Like, there's other running backs in this draft you can get later. I do not think you spend the 6th pick that high of capital on a guy like Jeanty.
No, I'm with you. And I'm just scrolling down.
And we talked pre-show. He's like, he looked like he was made of granite in his pro day.
Yeah.
He's really only 5'9". He's a smaller running back for the NFL. Let's see how many of these tackles that he broke at Boise State against these smaller schools are broken tackles when there's grown NFL men grabbing a hold of you when you come through these holes. So it's going to be a fun one to see. I don't think a lot of these broken tackles are still going to be broken tackles.
No. So what's our consensus here on Genty? What do you want to do with that?
Probably bet the Bears if I had to bet the market.
Bears?
Yep.
For Genty.
Small shot on the Cowboys, maybe.
Okay. Now, there are some other discussion points that we're going to get into as well. And there's 3 teams that you wanted to discuss as far as the first player being, or the first position being drafted. And I think that we might be able to find something here with the Denver Broncos. Okay. So let me get the lines up on FanDuel again. We've got, there we go. Running back for the Broncos plus 185. It would have to be Genty at this point.
No, I think
wide receiver 340. That's now Tet McMillan is the kid that everybody's talking about. I don't know if he's going to be there. You tell me if he drops that far in this draft. I did see something a little concerning. The dude's sitting there doing an actual interview while he's eating at a diner. And they asked him if he watches football. He's like, no, I think it's boring. The last time I heard a guy talk about how much he didn't like his sport and didn't watch it with Anthony Rendon. Good player, then ended up getting hurt, just didn't give a damn after a while.
What about Anthony Edwards, who said he'd rather be playing football than basketball?
Yeah, well, he's kind of good, though. So
yeah.
I think he'd rather be playing basketball. Go put him out there for a season in the NBA, in the NFL, and tell me what his body feels like. But, just for the Broncos, they could go running back. I see him going wide receiver. If the right guy falls to him, McMillan might be that guy. Outside of that, I think it's between running back and wide receiver, Tyler.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, tight end, we could cross tight end off right now with the signing of Evan Ingram. I think their cornerback room is pretty solid. I don't think you need to add another one of those. So probably cross that off too. Their offensive line has improved, so wouldn't go there. You keep rolling out Hampton for this spot. I think Hampton is in play for Denver in the first round with that running back spot. Maybe the wide receiver, maybe if a guy like Golden slips, or even if they have a very good liking to Burden, they go with one of the wide receivers. Looking at those odds, plus 185 and plus 340, I think you bet them both. I think you come out of there with some money.
Okay, I'm going to leave the next one up to you. Steelers, the first position. Boy, their first round draft pick, I should say. They need a lot, don't they? They need a stopper up the middle on defense, a tackle. They do need a running back. They'll have Jaylen Warren. They're going to need somebody to split with him. They need a quarterback at some point in time. Probably going to be somebody they might have to reach for. Wide receiver, I feel like, is in play. Man, this team has more needs this year than I can remember. What are we doing with the Steelers? The number one is plus 210 defensive lineman, edge rusher, then QB, then corner, and on and on and on.
All right, we can cross off wide receiver. They traded their second round pick for DK Metcalf. Okay. And they have Metcalf, Calvin Austin, George Pickens, and the ghost of Roman Wilson if he ever shows up from last year.
Right.
Cornerback could be a need, but I think the top ones are going to be gone by the time we draft. And these back end first rounders, or even all the way back to the third rounders, you could probably get a guy later. Running back interests me if Genty and Hampton start to slip. Offensive lineman, I don't think they burn another first round pick on that. They have another kid coming in who didn't play a snap last year who will fill a spot. Quarterback, I don't think they take Dart in the first round. I don't think they have this rate loving for him. I think they have their eyes on Milroe for the third round or maybe a second round trade up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only way they draft quarterback first round is if the Shador slide that everyone's rumored about is real and he slips all the way to 21.
Let me ask you this real quick. Would they, with the 21st pick, would they take Hampton, the running back?
I think there is a slight chance that they just fill the need of running back. But defensive linemen, when you look at a lot of mock drafts out there, the best defensive tackle doesn't come off until the 20s. They could get whatever defensive lineman they want to plug the middle because all the best prospects are still going to be there with the way these mock drafts have played out. Mind you, this could all change. Guys could trade up and draft guys. Maybe they just all just a smoke screen from teams. But they need to address the middle of the defensive line.
Yeah.
They can get pressure off the edges, but when they're just running the ball up the middle, you can't stop them. Cam Hayward's getting old. I think they either draft the kid out of Michigan or they draft the kid out of Ole Miss. So I think it's defensive lineman for them at 2-1. If you want to take the shot on the 9-1 on running back, I don't hate it. But I would definitely have that defensive lineman take it in my pocket.
Okay. So we'll get to the Raiders here in just a second. The first position that they take, as you see, running back, that would be Ashton Genty. But first, if you get a chance, smash the like button. We'd appreciate that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nuke the House Sports Betting. If you're watching on X, come on over. If you want to try us out for a week for free, now we're $59.99 a month, $19.99 a week, but we'll give away a free week to you if you haven't used your code already. So the code is up here. NASCAR is back. Go to nukethehouse.com. Pick a plan, monthly, weekly, sign up. We won't charge you unless you want to be charged at the end of the week or the month. And you get a free week. NASCAR is back as the code at nukethehouse.com. All right, pal. So what FanDuel's telling us is that Genty's going to the Raiders at 6, minus 105 to draft a running back. So you got Geno in Oakland now. They probably need a little help at wide receiver. They need a running back. You can kind of, that was the plan in Seattle, right? Run the football. Don't have to throw too much with Geno Smith. He can hit some deep balls. That's great. Then you see wide receiver. They could use a wide receiver. They need a lot of help defensively. They need offensive line help as well. But is Genty going to the Raiders at 6? I don't think this is a good bet at minus money.
No, I don't think it's a good bet at minus 105. We talked about it. Like, I just don't think his stats look so much farther ahead than the other running backs in this draft, but I just do not think he's that much better. This running back draft is so deep, I don't think you burn a 6th overall pick on a running back. With that being said, I think there's legit 4 names for the 6th overall pick.
Ooh.
It's him. It's Membo, the offensive tackle from Missouri. It's T-Mac, the wide receiver from Arizona. And it's Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan. I lean towards it being T-Mac, but the more you think about it, it's a Pete Carroll offense. It's a Pete Carroll team. They have some decent pass catchers. Maybe they trust these guys like Trey Tucker and them to step up. Brock Bowers is there. Maybe they look at him as wide receiver 2 to Jacoby, or maybe even wide receiver 1 with Jacoby to wide receiver 2. I think they might go defense here. Their defense outside of Crosby is just not that good. You can get the best corner on the board at 6 and get a plus 650 on that. So if I had to go a route, I think it's that. Maybe a slight pick on T-Mac, but those would be the 2 for me. I do not think it's a running back at 6.
All right, Tyler, let's go look through the 1 through 4 picks, some names there. Make sure you drop some comments in the chat if you want to talk about a bet that we can discuss in the NFL. We'll absolutely do that. Questions, best bets, throw it in the chat. What up, everybody? Thanks for watching me and Tyler today, talking some NFL draft. We do this every Monday, 4 o'clock Eastern. We'll have a nice little short show, but we'll definitely give you some bets or some ideas on how to bet this market. So let's do this. Number 1 overall pick. Forget about it. Right?
Yeah,
Why bother? Minus
the
13,
jerseys
50.
are already made.
It's over. It's over. Number 2 pick. All right. This is where you might get kind of interested because Abdul Carter, edge rusher, right? Minus 300. Shador Sanders is getting over a 3-1 price. And Travis Hunter's sitting there at plus 650. I will say this. Sean Fox, one of our cappers here at Nuke the House, he got me on Travis Hunter, number 2 overall at plus 650. I think more than anything else, that is a play because of the number. That is just flat out betting the number. The Browns have the pick. They need a quarterback. I don't think we see Travis Hunter there, but I bet it anyways. Is Abdul Carter really just a wrap to go number 2?
I feel like this is all a smokescreen also because they put out the report that Cleveland's pretty much keyed in on them. But they have this giant draft party at the stadium.
Yeah.
You got to think this is the last draft the GM and the coach get if they don't work out this season. You cannot go into the season with Kenny Pickett as your quarterback. You just can't. I really think that this is Shador Sanders. You have to get the quarterback spot right. He plays in a similar style to Stefanski's offense. They hired Dion's friend and former teammate the week that they interviewed Shador. Yeah, you could have one of the best duos on the defensive line with Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett. But it doesn't matter when you can't score points on the other side. We seen Jacksonville a couple years ago with Blake Bortles. The most you're going to max out is get to the AFC Championship game. Give me Shador Sanders plus 340 here. It just makes sense.
Bortles. Oof. That is fascinating to me. I am looking forward to seeing where Shedeur Sanders ends up. I mean, there's mock drafts out there that have him dropping to the back of the top 10.
And the other thing that I think about here with this one, Holden, he had the interview with Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took some interviews with some other teams, and they said he's not all that interested. He sounds cocky. We don't think we're going to draft him. This really reminds me of when LaMelo Ball had his interview with the Charlotte Hornets. Almost probably he got promised he was going to be the second pick, and then he took an interview with the Warriors, who had the third pick, and they said he just didn't care about the interview. He just didn't want to be there. It's like, yeah, because he knows you have no chance at drafting him. He's not going to be there.
Well, I'm
think there's a
fascinated to
promise
see where
in there.
Sanders is. Again, Foxy gave out plus 650 on Travis Hunter. Then we've got you're thinking Shedeur Sanders. Is it worth a bet at 340?
I think so.
All right.
I can't personally bet the draft in PA. With that number ballooning up, I might be driving to West Virginia to get that bet in.
Yeah, how far is that from you?
About like 45 minutes to an hour. It's not
West
that bad.
Virginia, man. Hopefully you'll come back. Number 3 overall pick is our next one. So that's the Giants. Abdul Carter's probably the guy there. It seems like they want to address, the quarterback position another year. Maybe they could trade up. I'm not sure. But Travis Hunter, who maybe they just make a full-time corner, is a great wide receiver too. And I'd like to see him play both sides of the ball. If Sanders is not taking number 2, Shedeur is plus 170. Abdul Carter 6-1. That might be worth a bet too. Carter going to the Giants, number 3 overall at 6-1. Why is it that price?
Because they have no need for an edge rusher on the Giants. You gave Brian Burns all that money. Thibodeau hasn't played well, but he's also been injured. You spent that high draft capital on him. You probably just let his contract run out and see how he plays. I do not think you add Shedeur Sanders to a quarterback room of Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Tell me that isn't just a recipe for disaster.
No, I mean, he can learn. Russ is a man of God, just like Dion.
And doesn't like to go downfield and just kind of plays check down
Jameis
city.
is a disaster.
Yeah. The angel and the devil on one shoulder and on the other. It's literally lining up like out of a drafted.
All right, so we're passing on that. Probably Travis Hunter.
I think it makes sense. I think they play him as a wide receiver. I mean, Hunter and Malik Neighbors, that's a really good one too for your wide receiver, and could even drop him in on some nickel corner plays. Like I think that's how they probably use him. That right there is what we need to talk about.
Last one here. Bill's top 4. I don't know who Bill is. Oh,
Bill
the ringer.
Simmons.
So it's Simmons. Okay.
Yeah.
Exact order. I hate betting these prepackaged, but plus 750. Cam Ward 1, Shedeur 2, Hunter 3, Carter 4. Plus 750. You like that?
I love it. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I said the odds weren't out, but this is what I want. It just makes sense in my head. Tennessee needs a quarterback. They've keyed in on Cam Ward. Cleveland needs a quarterback, and this is probably their GM's last draft, and same thing with the head coach. You take a quarterback. Giants sit there, they look. Probably Abdul Carter's the better football prospect than Hunter, but you don't need an edge rusher, so you take Hunter, who's very close to being the best football player in this draft. And then the Patriots, who've shown all offseason that they're keying in on defense, just signed Diggs. They look and go, oh, the best edge rusher still on the board. Give us Abdul Carter. I love that plus 750.
Okay. I should bet it?
Yeah.
All right. So Shedeur Sanders number 2, and then Bill special at plus 750. Okay.
Yep.
What up, Daniel Barry? Good to see you in here, guys. Fathead, sharp dude, Fathead. Will Howard of the Raiders in the later rounds, if you can get a line for that. Yeah, once they open that up, I would think that Will Howard will be there. Pretty successful at Ohio State. I don't see any specific props for Will Howard
He's
yet.
going to be a bum.
You think he's going to be a bum?
Yeah, he's going to suck.
Wow.
There's not going to be many good quarterback prospects out of this draft. Next year, though, next year's loaded.
So maybe that's why the Giants kind of skip out at 3.
I think that's why the Giants skipped out, and I think that's why you're going to see the Steelers start Mason Rudolph this year.
Maybe even trade down. Who knows? But, yeah, I think that's interesting. So the bets that we came up with, did we settle on a Genty spot?
I would say Bears. I just don't think he gets past the Bears to get to Dallas. But if you wanted to sprinkle on Dallas at plus 850, I do not hate that.
All right, I'm going to fade that, but I'm going to go Shadur Sanders number 2. I'll tell you that means I'll have Sanders and Hunter, and hopefully Carter isn't taken there. And then we got the special on FanDuel plus 750 for the first 4 in order. Those always scare me, Tyler. They always
we're gonna be all right holding them.
I'll be all right.
If we get the first 2, I think we're all right. I just don't see the Giants burning more higher draft capital on edge rushers.
All right. Well, listen, we're tracking our picks here. We'll go with Sanders.
And if Hunter's name gets called at 3,
2, yeah,
you best believe, even if the Patriots trade number 4, whoever's coming up the 4 is drafting Carter.
Okay. Will Howard, Chip Kelly, see a connection later on. Okay. Hey, Fathead, we'll be live betting the draft. So we can manipulate some things while we're going on, and we'll have that. What is it, the 24th? It's a Thursday.
April 24th. Yeah, it'll start. First
Thursday,
round.
April 24th. Okay. Hey, we got a lot going on there. Plug the NBA rundown again there, Tyler, and it's always good working with you, pal.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. NBA rundown, me and Spread. As long as the time don't change. Break down all the NBA games, give you our favorite bets, and we're doing that Monday through Friday all week, including playoffs once those start.
Simple as that. Playoffs right around the corner. I mean, most teams have, 5 games left?
Yep, right around that. So we're
right
closing
there.
in.
Smash the like button on the way out. We've got a Major League Baseball live betting show starting up Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. Wednesday and Thursday, Fox will be doing it. Tuesday will be me and Maddie for baseball. Wednesday, Thursday, me and Fox will live bet the NBA, the playoffs, NHL, college basketball. We'll have, I think we're done with college basketball, right? Because that goes Saturday, Monday. Yeah, so we're done with college basketball, NHL, NBA, MLB, and whatever the hell else we want to bet on then. Hey, Tyler, you're a good dude. Good stuff. I'll be tailing 2 picks today for Tyler. I'm Kush. Let's go nuke these bets.